The session is on inculcating entrepreneurship among youth and women. The resource person being CA Pratiksha Pai. It's rightly stated, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts, is rightly quoted by Winston Churchill. Good morning and welcome to the first session of the day, focusing on inculcating entrepreneurship among youth and women. This session aims to inspire and empower the next generation of entrepreneurs with a special focus on women to embark on their journey, especially their entrepreneurial journey. We have a distinguished guest with us today, CA Pratiksha Pai, who is a trailblazer in the world of finance and entrepreneurship. Before we delve into the insights CA Pratiksha Pai will share with us, let's take a moment to learn about her remarkable journey. Pratiksha Pai is not only an highly accomplished chartered accountant, but also an avid advocate for women's economic empowerment. Her life story is a testament to the power of determination and resilience, and we are fortunate to have her here to guide and inspire us. Over to you, CA Pratiksha Pai.
Thank you, ma'am. So yesterday when I got to know that I have to be talking here today, absolutely calm, because if you had told me some 5-6 years back that tomorrow morning you have to talk, I would have been in a state of chaos. But now we don't only have ease of doing business, we have ease of doing everything. You know, there is artificial intelligence apps, you put your content, what you want to put to the audience, you get your slides. So, you know, by the grace of artificial intelligence apps, I have my PPTs ready. By the grace of God, I have a mouth. And by the grace of azithromycin 500 and Dolo 650, I have my voice. Right? So here I am. Well, exactly 12 years back, I have spoken as a student in the Mangalore branch for the topic of depreciation. It was in Deepa Comforts. This was exactly 12 years back. And Gautam, I remember he was in the student committee back then. And from being in student committee to managing committee, from being CA students to, you know, being chartered accountants, we've all come a long way, Gautam. So thank you. Coming back over here and talking for the Mangalore branch feels like coming back home. Again, so glad to be here in the Aloysius institutions. My husband is an alumni, Sanket Nayak. He has studied in this institution, and that's not my only connect with this institution. My grandfather's uncle, that is my great-grand uncle, was a lecturer at Aloysius institutions. So that's how old and reputed this institution is. So glad to be here. And yes, let us start with today's session. Inculcating entrepreneurship among youth and women. Why is this even a point of discussion? Why are we even talking about youth and women when, you know, we over here in this part of the country, we feel that, well, youth and women are there in entrepreneurship, but why? What do the stats say? What do the numbers say? What do the facts say? Let's see. Let's go to the next slide. We can go to the next slide. Okay. Any issues? Any which ways. All are from commerce background, I suppose. So can someone tell me meaning of entrepreneurship? Yashaswini, we can go to the next slide. Someone who's handling the slides, please. Okay. So, well, as per class 11 economics, let's forget the slides. I have it on my phone, so I'll see. So, any which ways, yeah, this is the third one. Let's go one slide back. As per your class 11 economics, they say that entrepreneurship refers to the process of starting and launching a business and includes the willingness and ability to take on that business risk. If you write this much, you will get 1 mark in your class 11 exams. Okay, but in practicality, what is entrepreneurship? When we are talking here to youngsters, you people should be knowing, no, what is entrepreneurship? So let me tell you, when a person handles every role from CEO to sweeper, okay, then that person is entrepreneurship. That passion has to drive you towards being entrepreneurship. Standing in Bangalore, being a Konkani, if I have to tell you what is entrepreneurship, let me tell you with, of course, being a Konkani, I will relate it to some food item, right? So you must have heard about the food item Gajbaje, okay, wherein you put every vegetable, whatever is there in your house, whatever is rotting, everything you put all kind of spices and you make one curry. And coincidentally, that's one of the best tasting curries we have, okay? So you know how the name Gajbaje came? Well, our ancestors, you know, they had a lot of vegetables and they put all these vegetables and they did one curry. And they didn't know what to name it. Okay, our ancestors. And suddenly there was one entrepreneur who was coming home for his lunch break, totally frustrated. Yeah, today staff didn't come, my user interface is horrible, my app has glitches, and my creditors are sitting on my head. And when he came home, these ancestors asked him, see, we've done a new curry, man, what do we name it? He said, what is that? They said, okay, it has all kind of vegetables, all kind of spices, and of course, being Konkani, it has coconut also in it. So then he said, Arey, this is my profession, call it Gajbaje. Okay, so that is how Gajbaje name came, and that is what is entrepreneurship. This is the best I can do to describe what is entrepreneurship. Basically, it is all roles into one, and as Reverend Father correctly told, the only thing that drives an entrepreneur is his passion. His or her passion, nothing else, nothing else. You know, after a point in time, you start just enjoying the journey of entrepreneurship without thinking about the money. That is what is entrepreneurship. Now let's look at some facts over here. Targets for India Inc. We no longer just call ourselves India, we are India Inc. Okay, we are like a private limited company now. We are just running our country like a private company. We are no longer running our country like a government organization. We are running our country like a private company. So these are the targets set. We should be developed country in 25 years, $5 trillion economy by 2025 and $10 trillion economy by 2030 and third largest economy by 2027. Now just imagine in a company there are 10 departments, out of which 5 departments are just sitting idle. Just 5 departments are working. More than 5, because youth and women, no, just imagine 6-7 departments are sitting idle and all the target is falling on 3 departments. Is that the correct thing to go about? No. Every person should have accountability. Every person should have responsibility. Every person should work towards this target. If we remove youth and women, who is left? Old men. Can you put the whole onus of meeting these targets on old men? No ways. They are already stressed by calls from Dr. Batras and Bajaj Finance, man. We can't put this stress also on them. So isn't that really panicking situation? We all have to get together to meet these targets, right? We'll go to the next slide to just show you some facts. These are the facts. Okay, demographic dividend. We are a country having the largest amount of young population. That is people below the age of 35, 65%. And this demographic dividend will peak at 2041 and will remain till 2055. So it's a huge time range till when we have this dividend. Then we have youth contribution to GDP, which is just 33%. Whereas youth comprises of 65% population, whereas their contribution to GDP right now is just 33%. Women contribution to GDP, 50% of the population, almost 50. Half the population is just contributing 18%. Because we have lacked somewhere. And if we bridge this gap, that we are seeing, the potential of women's contribution to GDP can increase by 30%, which is around 48%, almost 50%. Okay, so when we saw these targets, just imagine increasing all that productivity by more than 30%. Just women, I'm telling 30%, plus the youth is also there. Whatever we had to achieve, what is that? Your developed country in 25 years, we can achieve in 12 to 15 years. What your 5 trillion is for 2025, we are already nearing that any which ways. But for 10 trillion, which is set for 2030, we can achieve that much earlier, 2027, 2028. And whatever, we are the third largest economy by 2027. That is the target. We can achieve that also sooner. Already we are on the right track. India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, but a lot more is yet to be done. Now you may all think that, we are very fortunate to be in this part of our country where we are not strangers to, thank you, where we are not strangers to entrepreneurship, and we are not at all strangers to women entrepreneurs as such. Because see, in ours is a part where, 5 nationalized banks have, taken birth. We have huge women entrepreneurs like, I can say Komal Prabhu of Maharaja Hotels, or Nirmala Travels, Nirmala Kamath is there, Manipal, there is Srimati Sandhya Pai. We are not at all strange to these things. But even within Karnataka itself, there are many remote places. I'm not at all talking about Dakshin Kannada or Udupi. Beyond that also there are places where women have to be encouraged. They are losing out on their rightful opportunities. And let me tell you why I'm telling rightful, because right from the childhood, a woman's place is made known. How do we break that barrier? How do we break that barrier? Because here what we see, education as a status. Okay, what other parts of the country in respect to women see even today, modesty as a status. That barrier somewhere should be bridged. I'm not telling one is wrong, one is right. Somewhere there needs to be a mid path, and we have to bridge that, and we have to get women on the forefront. Okay, so here when I'm talking about women, I would like to mention the Mamaearth IPO which just concluded. Okay, this lady in 2016, she gave birth to a baby boy, and she wanted to check all the baby products. And she was so shocked that there were no baby-friendly, toxin-free baby products in the market. So what did she do? She started her own product called Mamaearth. Okay, and today, just within 7 years, Mamaearth is going for an IPO with an IPO size of 1,700 crores. Just within 7 years. Okay, so that is the level of support the ecosystem is giving. That is the level of ease of business we have. What more ease of business we want, right? We are not making complete use of whatever ease of business is there. Okay, first let us make complete use of this, and then we can, of course, complaining, we can always complain about many things. That's always there. Okay, these are some inspirational stories. Then in my own Bangalore, I kind of work a lot with the startup ecosystem. I see a lot of startups. One of the startups that was very unique, one lady, she has made ice cream cones from millet flour. Imagine, we are in the year of millets, and that kind of innovation. She has won that little innovation mission challenge for all that, innovation, whatever she has done. So I'm just trying to tell you that each person, man, woman, youth, whoever that is, has this level of creativity. We need to nurture it, grow it, and scale it, and utilize it towards the betterment of the economy. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Till now, it was kind of an introduction to the topic. We now know why women need to be pushed into the mainstream economy. We now know why youth has to be encouraged to join the mainstream economy. Now let us see what are the stages in lifetime of an entrepreneur, because here I see a lot of youth, and if I'm just saying entrepreneurship, gaja and all that, nothing much is going to work out. But I want to give you how the journey goes. Okay, so first is education. Education, any type of education. Okay, so even let us say you want to become a baker. They do such beautiful cakes, and they sell it. First, you need to educate yourself, right? Any field, right? From whatever is a household business to whatever can be a multinational business. First, education is important. After that, it is vocation. You should work under some expert in that field and learn. That time you should not think how much is my stipend, how much is my salary, how many hours per day I have to work, nothing. It's just learning by doing. Okay? So I'm a chartered accountant, and we have students who are CA interns, articleship they do with our offices. So when someone asks me what is CA articleship, I just tell them It is professional Montessori. Okay, what is a Montessori education? Learning by doing. What is CA articleship? Learning by doing. Okay, so vocation is one of the most crucial things. You may have learnt anything in education, but how to put it into practice is what you get to know when you are really working under someone. After that, you need to have an incubation. Incubation is where you get connects, you get mentorships, get support of all types, you get guidance. Basically you're made ready for being an entrepreneur. Basically your company is being made ready. Okay, so incubation is required, and then you can have the freedom for innovation once you've gone through all these stages. Why many startups fail? Nobody wants to get educated. Nobody wants to do the vocation. Nobody wants to get incubation. Just everyone is behind innovation. Government is giving grant, banks are giving loans, collateral-free loans for startups. There are so many funding options. Investors are ready to put in money. So directly going to innovation. But we have examples like Zerodha and Zoho who are bootstrapped, but unicorn startups. And what have they done? They've gone through all this. They've seen the hard part of being a startup. And that is what matters. Let's go to the next slide. And stages in lifetime of a startup as a company. Okay, first an idea stage. All the governmental support, whatever is there for each stage, I will tell you in the upcoming slides, of course. But let me tell you, first you need to have an idea. Okay, you need to have an idea, and you have to then plan on how to do that idea. Because I had interviewed the founder of Next Big Innovation Labs, if you've all heard that startup, about that startup. They're soon to become unicorns now. And the way he told me, the first idea, they do bioprinters, okay? And the first thing when this idea came to him to, do bioprinters, was he just drew that printer on a piece of paper. And then he took another 2-3 friends who are in the same field, and of course, he has also done education in that, because he has gone to the US, Germany, and worked in robotics. So with that knowledge, he came back, he did his own ideation, and then planning started. They literally went to Shivajinagar market in Bangalore and purchased some metal objects with which they could do a very rustic first model of their printer. Okay, so there was planning. Then, of course, they went for incubation, and with the help of all that, they have done the execution and perfected their printer, and then they have gone into scaling. They have got connects with various academia, and scaling means what? Scaling means growing. Once you execute, then you slowly start growing, and then there is the full-term growth. Okay, so right from a seed, the germination, the watering, you can't expect a tree in a day. It has to go through some sort of a process. In the same way, you have to have an idea, you have to plan how to convert that idea into a working prototype. At the same time, you should also see if that idea has a market fit. Then you execute that plan, whatever you have done. And once you execute the plan and the product is out there, then you start scaling it very slowly, and then you reach the hyper growth stage. Let's go to the next slide. Funding ecosystem for startups. Well, I've written startups over here, but this also includes women, but it includes men and women, so I've given it a common name of startups. Basically, what is the 3 pillars, of support that we are getting is either concession in the margin, concession in the interest, or concession in the security or the collateral. Which means when you get a loan, if you go to bank and tell you need 100 rupee loan, bank doesn't give you 100 rupee. They are telling how much are you getting, because you need to have some accountability, right? If bank is giving 100 rupees, if you are asking 100 and bank is giving 100, then everyone will take it for granted, right? So the bank will tell you have to get some margin. So say for others it is say around 25 rupees. We give you 75, you bring 25. For schemes like there is Stand Up India, there's other schemes wherein the bank will tell that, okay, the Stand Up India will come in the next slide, but I'm just giving an example. The Stand Up India scheme, the banks will tell, okay, women entrepreneur get just 15 rupees, we'll give 85, something like that. Interest concession. So for startups, the banks will tell, we will give you so much concession on the interest rates, or we may give you a interest-free holiday for a year or 18 months or something like that. Then collateral concession. You have to always provide some security. If I fail to pay my loan, then what? Okay, I'll mortgage my house or my jewelry or whatever that is. But for startups, and especially for startups, this CGSS scheme that you can read over there, government provides collateral-free loans up to a limit of 10 crore rupees. Okay, but of course, there are terms and conditions. You just can't go and tell the government that I am a startup, give me 10 crore. No, that doesn't work that way. There are procedures, there are paperwork to be done. And as rightly told by Gayatri ma'am, if you are going to become an entrepreneur, you need to know some part of finance. I'm not telling all of you have to become first chartered accountants and then go into entrepreneurship, but you need to know some small things at least. Okay, so now Nidhi Prayas, the first scheme. Even if you have an idea, okay, if you have idea and you can just tell the government that from this idea I can do a working prototype, government is ready to fund you up to 10 lakhs. Grant, it's nothing. A grant is a gift, if I can tell in simple words. You don't have to repay it. Okay, and the government is ready to give you up to 10 lakhs. Then there is Nidhi EIR, which is a stipend of 30,000 per month for you to work on your startup. Startup seed funding. So government is going to give you 20 lakhs of grant and 50 lakhs worth of loan for 3%. 3%. Okay? But you have to show that you're, of course, putting it into your business. You can't take a loan at 3% and put it in an FD for 7% or something like that. But that is the startup seed funding. CGSS, Credit Guarantee Scheme for Startups, wherein government is ready to give you collateral-free loans up to 10 crore rupees. Okay? This, of course, is at least after 12 months from when your revenue becomes stable. You have to show that my revenue is stable for the past 12 months, and then government, the banks or the other lending institutions will assess your file and then see how much you are eligible to get under this scheme. Then we have soft loans from incubators. There are various incubators in Karnataka, forget Bangalore, Bangalore also, but even in Dakshin Kannada, I'm so happy to see that so many incubators are cropping up, and these incubators also have personal level schemes for their incubatees, wherein they give them soft loans. And then there is Startup India. You know one thing, I keep telling everyone says, I have a startup, I have a startup. In India, to tell you're a startup, you should be registered under the Startup India scheme, which is, you have to have the DPIIT registration, which is Department for Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade. So if you are, starting a new company, you want to be having all the advantages that a startup has, please register yourselves under the Startup India scheme as a startup. Okay? Because otherwise, yeah, you're just a startup company, which means you've just started up. But become a real startup, and if you register in the Startup India scheme, then you are eligible for many, many more government schemes. Like, for example, CGSS, Credit Guarantee Scheme for Startups. One of the major eligibility criteria is that you should be registered as a startup under the Startup India scheme. Okay, so for Nidhi Prayas also, you should be a startup. For startup seed funding also, you need to have a DPIIT registration. So all these schemes are there from governments, but we do not know what is the basic eligibility requirement. So that is what I'm trying to tell. Startup India, like I have one company which is registered under Startup India. So in the same way, please register yourself. And nowadays, these all are not at all hassle, they're all hassle-free procedures. You don't have to go anywhere. Everything is online. You just need to know how to read and how to operate a laptop or a smartphone for that matter. Okay, next slide. Again, now funding ecosystem for women businesses, if I have to say. Again, focusing on the three things like margin concession, interest concession, and collateral concession. We have schemes like this is is a very small list, because if I go to put a list, maybe we have to have a separate seminar just to talk about the schemes that are there for women entrepreneurs. So these schemes that you can see, the Rashtriya Mahila Kosh, Mahila Udyam Nidhi, Annapurna scheme. Basically, Annapurna scheme is for women entrepreneurs who want to start food catering businesses, and for Rashtriya Mahila Kosh or Udyam Nidhi and Stree Shakti schemes are these microfinance schemes for women who want to put up their own businesses. And then there is women empowerment platforms, wherein, these platforms, they are there for providing an all-round support to women. Okay, it can be mentorship, it can be apprenticeship, it can be the funding support, it can be the community support, and all that thing. Then, of course, there's Stand Up India. Any business which has more than at least 51% of women leadership gets a loan from Stand Up India, where the margin is just 15%, the margin requirement. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Then incubator and mentorship programs for startups. First, let's talk about the incubator programs. Incubation. See, when you're going for an incubation, when you're applying for an incubation, please check the trust sector. Like, some incubators may not support EdTech. Some incubators may only support, say, food technology. Some incubators may only support biotechnology. So we have to check the trust sector, because otherwise you'll apply and you'll not get the incubation. Then you have to again wait for some 60 days or something before you reapply. So please do all this background check before you apply for incubation. And then innovation, we have the Atal Innovation Mission. If you have some new kind of idea which you want to convert into a company, then of course that is there. Now see, we have all these incubation centers in Dakshina Kannada. I work closely with the AIC at Jyoti Institute of Technology Foundation, Bangalore. But yes, I also have been to Mudbi, Manipal. There is CEOL at Mangalore, AIC NIT. AIC NIT, I really want to visit there as soon as possible. And we have NITK STEP at Suratkal, incubation centers at various educational institutions. If you know, even Aloysius College has an entrepreneurship and innovation cell. Then there is TIE Mangaluru, and there is this thing going on about Beyond Bangalore, because everything is situated in Bangalore and we want to go beyond that. What do all the youngsters say? Once we finish our graduation, we want to go to Bangalore. Why? Why not Mangalore? So there is Beyond Bangalore, and for Mangalore, there is this thing of Silicon Beach that is happening. People are trying to get all the startups to Mangalore. They are wooing all the youngsters. You all are the luckiest people. People are, the ecosystem is ready to give you everything served on a plate. You just have to take the decision to go forward and eat it. Just have one idea. The entire ecosystem will help you build a unicorn. Okay? However, building unicorn is not the end goal. Whenever last month I was judging a startup event, and we had these participants coming in, and my goal is to build a unicorn. My goal is to build a decacorn. My goal is to build a hectacorn. And we did not really like that, because what is your goal in terms of your product? What is your passion? Whom do you want to serve as a society? That should also be included in your goal. Money will come, definitely it will come. Okay, and when I'm talking about Silicon Beach, just last month I was interacting with Mr. Rohit Bhatt. Okay, 99 Games, one of the major startup stalwarts of Dakshin Kannada, and I should say of India. Okay, and he too was mentioning that we want to encourage more startups in this belt. And so you all are at the right place at the right time, and make the most of that opportunity. Let's go to the next slide. Mentorship and academia connect. See, any startup nowadays, when you are into something which involves something in the health sector or something in the biotechnology sector, you need access to good academia. You need access to maybe, good labs, good hospitals. Here I really want to mention would be any health sector startups. They're providing them an absolute amazing opportunity, amazing field to, have all their testings and stuff done, good connect to academia, mentorships for startups. One thing that that I normally see, when someone does a startup, they have one idea stuck in their head and they don't want to pivot. Okay? please try to get mentors who are experts in that same field, and they will make you pivot your idea in such a way that it becomes a good market fit. Don't be rigid in your, in your approach. Okay, the goal can be set, but the path should be very flexible. So that is where mentorship becomes really important. So just last week, okay, when I talk about women entrepreneurship, not even last week, just 2 days before, November 2nd, I attended one conference which is Google for Startups in partnership with the Karnataka Startups for women. Okay, I think those main words only are missing. It was for women. And there were just around, I can say, 50 to 60 participants. What is wrong with us, guys? Like, Google is partnering with Startup Karnataka and focusing on women startups. And it's not like, it's been there on LinkedIn, it's been there on YouTube, it's been there everywhere saying that November 2nd we are going to have this conclave. And absolutely let down to see just 50 to 60 participants. Okay? So I think somewhere, when we are marching towards getting women and youth into the entrepreneurship, we should also encourage them. Just 1 hour, go listen to a virtual webinar. You may get to learn something which you've not known till now. Okay, you might be an expert in your field, but still there will be some things that are let out, that have been slipped out of your mind. And these things, when MNCs, global giants are there to help you out. Okay, make use of it. Make use of it. Sign up for VC meetups. Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, Cubbon Park, Dexter meetup, and there you can see at 7 in the morning, 6:45, 7, you can see really aspiring startup founders. That is the place you can get to meet these people. And we went there, and again, we went to this VC meetup on a Sunday, Cubbon Park, and there are just some 20-30 people out there. And those people also came because they have told that we will do yoga, this, that, and they want to just network and all that. How many more could have really benefited if they just made a choice to get out of their beds on a Sunday morning? Okay, which is not too much to ask for. Then there are startup networking events. Today this hall should have been full and people should have been standing. But that same people who are absent today will tomorrow start talking about startups. Okay, so please join networking events, please join startup events, and please talk to the mentors and do your homework as well. Then shows like Business Tonic, which CA SS Nayak conducts every Sunday. Highly knowledgeable, I should say. And then, of course, being here and being a woman entrepreneur, I should not miss out talking about my own channel, that is the Fintelligent Investor on YouTube, wherein I put in daily 1-minute videos, and sometimes I put long videos on various things about startups and funding and banking and insurance. And I would also like to tell that credit guarantee scheme for startups, I have made an entire research on that, and that video is also going to come up soon. Just 11 or 12-minute video. So you can go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, and you'll get access to that video as well. So when there are, and of course, my role model is my own father-in-law, CA SS Nayak. Because of his Business Tonic, we have got into my Fintelligent Investor as well. Let's see the next slide. Okay, unconventional sectors of successful startup businesses. Till now, whatever we spoke were like big startup companies and stuff like that. But youngsters, you can even do, your own. You can start off on social media. You can have a virtual presence. People are sitting literally in their homes and reaching millions and billions of people throughout the globe. And niche social media content. One guy, this is really interesting. He stays, his house is in a place where, there are 3 or 4 roads and it's very prone to accidents. This guy, what he has done, he has put a CCTV on his balcony and captures accidents and puts them on YouTube, and he's got millions of subscribers. Okay, so people want to see how accidents happened. I don't know what they get out of that, but yeah, see, but that man is a genius, right? That man is a genius. So we have all types of, content that's happening. Do you know people put videos of themselves just eating their food? Okay, and we all start feeling hungry after we watch those videos. But do you know, these people go ahead and help people who have eating disabilities. There are literally people who cannot eat, and these people take one-on-one sessions with them and eat with them on a video. You might be somewhere in, say, Korea, some other person with an eating disability, somewhere, say, in Europe, and you are helping that person to eat with you. So every content has a market, has an audience, has a potential income earning capability. Okay? Then we have something called freelancing. Anyone you see today, they don't do anything else, they call themselves freelancers, but that's not what it is. Freelancing is where you take up projects and you complete the projects and submit it to your clients and get the money. Then there's corporate entrepreneurship, wherein you are an employee of a company, but you start new verticals in a company. Say, for example, there are a lot of chartered accountants. So let me tell it this way. Say your firm is into all your audits and your taxes, but you never do GST. Okay, but say a new CA comes in and he tells that, okay, I'll be an employee of your firm, but I will start the GST vertical for you. Okay, he is an employee, but an entrepreneur. Okay, corporate entrepreneurship. Then there's affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing basically means selling products that are not your own. Okay, so you see these people, right, who tell that I use this shampoo or I use something else, and if you also want this, the link is in my description. They tell. When you click that link and you get that product, immediately that person gets a commission. Okay? The price is not hiked for you, but the other person gets a commission. So these are newer types of businesses wherein, all you need to do is maybe grow an audience. That's it. So this is almost it. I think we're done. Let's go to the next slide. Yes. Thank you everyone for having me here, and I hope I have finished on time and I have not bored you. Thanks once again.
There is a saying, it's better to have no money and a plan rather than having money and no plan. CA Pratiksha Pai is a true role model and truly inspirational inputs that she has generated through today's talk. Thank you, ma'am, for reaching our community in such a strong way. Today we have our budding entrepreneurs here, and I hope all of you have taken this insightful session, and please take the learning outcomes. Most of the times, ma'am has focused right from pitching the ideas to conceptualizing your dream into a reality. Thank you so much, ma'am. May I now request CA Subarav Mupala to kindly hand over a memento as a token of love and gratitude to our resource person, CA Pratiksha Pai. Thank you, sir.